Good evening, council. Good evening, everyone out in the audience. Call this mid-monthly meeting to order at 5 p.m. Jim, can you say a prayer for us, please?
Thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for our mothers, our fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, all of our ancestors, those that went before us, all the hardships, all the sacrifices they made on our behalf, and then also thank them for passing along their teachings, to take care of one another, be good to one another, those things like that. Ask that you look after our relatives, our friends in the four directions. Take care of their everyday wants and needs, continue to bless them in a good way. And then also that all of those relatives that are on the road and traveling, going somewhere, to be with a sick relative or whatever they're doing, and those that are returning home, watch over them, give them safe travels. Ask that you look after our soldier boys, our soldier girls, wherever they may be, watch over them, take care of them, bless them, have them return to us safely, that we can thank them, we can honor them, and that they be in good health in mind, body, and spirit, that way, so we can enjoy their company. And once again, ask that you look after our children, our grandchildren, all of those little ones, that we take care of them, encourage them along, and pass along those teachings that were given to us by our elders or ancestors, how we are to one another, taking care of one another, and those things like that. And then also say thank you for our lady relatives, all the things that they do for us, a special gift that they have is that gift of life that you bestowed upon them, that, they are the backbone of our tribe, and they do everything for us, carry us for 9 months, and then after that, they're always there for us. And just want to say thank you, acknowledge them that way, and all of these things that are occurring in the world, I know that if I left anything out, you're going to take care of that for us, But also, I just wanted to say thank you again for all the blessings that you have given us, and we are truly blessed, I hope.
No.
Oh.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, we have the agenda in front of us. There's 3 other items here I want to add to the agenda. First one is request by Thea Bass. That'd be TC items, number 2. The other is request from Barbara McCauley, be number 3. And the 4th is Carmelita Latre. Okay, are there any other items to add or to delete? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion to approve as amended. Second.
Been a motion and second to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 6-0-0. Reading of the minutes, April 1st, 2019, regular tribal council meeting. Move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been motion second to approve the minutes of April 1st, 2019, regular tribal council meeting. Discussion? Any objections? Call for vote in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. No? Abstention? 1. Motion passed, 5-0-1. Reading of the minutes, April 8th, 2019, monthly land meeting.
Move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
Been a motion second to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2019, monthly land meeting. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed, 6-0-0. Reading of the minutes, April 10th, 2019, CEO report.
Move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
Been a motion second to approve the minutes of April 10th, 2019. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed, 6-0-0. Ratify 5 signature, none. New business, resolution, good health and wellness in Indian country.
You have the summary in front of you and the resolution. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to go over it further? You have the summary that's been presented in front of you, as well as the resolution. Do you want me to go over the summary? For here, this project will essentially provide, as a primary goal, good health and wellness in Indian country will target American Indian Alaska Native youth ages 13 and up, young adults and parents who are at risk of prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, and stroke that live in the Winnebago community. Over the 5-year funding period, the project will serve 450 youth and young adults. Over the 5-year period, we'll be requesting a total of $1,092,922 for this effort. And it will staff 1 project manager, 1 registered dietitian, and a contract evaluator, as well as other things to support that work.
Where would those positions be?
Those positions are, it will be connected with the Winnebago Community Health, but this grant will be through the tribe, so we'll work in cooperation with them in the same way that the current Good Health and Wellness Grant is functioning. The tribe needs to be the applicant.
Once we receive it, it's turned over to the health department to administer.
We will have them perform the work, but the administration for it will really stay under the tribe, and it has to. We cannot do a subrecipient agreement with this one. The tribe has to be the applicant, and we cannot assign it to another entity. So it'll operate just like the existing Good Health and Wellness Grant is operating now.
Well, the health department is under the tribe.
Right, and the staff that are doing that, they are working with the health department, but it's still administered through the tribe for that particular grant.
So if this grant is approved, the people that are gonna be employed with this grant are already in place over there?
Yes, their offices are over
So
there.
there's no new jobs or anything coming in?
No, for the most part, there's really not any new jobs. But it will continue that work. Build upon it.
Okay. When does this have to go in?
This one is due on May 1st, I believe it is. We're ahead 2 weeks. Can you guys believe it?
Yeah, I know.
We've been working on catch-up, so we're finally getting into the mode of getting them ahead of time.
I mean, Mr. Chair, that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
Yeah. Move it, no?
I'll second. Okay, all right.
You got it?
Been motion second to approve, adopt resolution 19-102, good health and wellness in Indian country. Any further discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0-0. Resolution Winnebago Nutrition Education.
This particular grant is, the goal is for the Winnebago Nutrition Education is to increase the health and well-being of the Winnebago community members by providing food distribution program on Indian Reservation program participants with new skills and knowledge through cooking classes and demonstrations held twice a month for a year. Through these classes and demonstrations, participants will learn new ways to prepare fresh fruits and vegetables, and will also learn more about the nutritional benefits of incorporating more fresh produce into their meals. And that supports the efforts that we've moved the food distribution program into a retail setting. So this is kind of their next step in offering some additional services as part of that. This does not have any new positions, but it will engage the existing staff that are at the food distribution office.
I move to adopt a resolution, Winnebago Nutrition Education.
Second.
Been motion second to adopt resolution 19-103, Winnebago Nutrition Education. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0-0. Next one yours?
Yep.
Okay. Roshak.
This next one is, and I'm going to apologize on the front end on how to enunciate this because I just don't know how to do it correctly. But the Ho-Chunk Washka is a grant to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, Native American Library Services Enhancement Grant. As a part of that, our goal is to strengthen the capacity of the Winnebago tribe and its institution to improve the well-being of their community. With a growing population of youth and a rapidly declining population of elders, the tribe is in need of efficient ways to document, preserve, and circulate cultural knowledge for current tribal members and future generations. The multi-phase Ho-Chunk project will address this need through the production of a short film documenting Ho-Chunk language, culture, and history to be screened publicly for the community and later made available as an educational resource at the Angel Decorah Museum. During Phase 1, video footage will be collected at public events such as powwows and Renaissance language activities, as well as during private interviews. This footage will be combined with digitized historical footage to produce the documentary film. Phase 2 will entail the combining of new and old cultural material into 5 topic-specific short films for use as educational resources in language and cultural curricula going forward. This will bring in funding for the filming, and it will support some of the project staffing of our preservation director, who will oversee the grant administration. And it will also engage and partner with our Ho-Chunk Renaissance program. So I believe that there's funding in here to assist Renaissance with their costs of what their contributions are as consultants. And this request is for $149,567.
Move it to that. Resolution number 104, which one was the phase 1?
Been a motion and a second to adopt resolution 19-104. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0. Continue on, Joy.
Okay. The other thing we have, I'm seeing it on the agenda as just one, but there should be 2. And the question is whether or not we need a resolution or if you want to do this by a motion. But I prepared resolutions for your consideration. What the deal is on the first one, we had written for a proposal to purchase vehicles for our transit system. And as a part of that, the funds did not get expended. They are ready to make those purchases now and moving forward with that. When they did their appropriations for their budget last fall, this time around they did not include the match amounts in their budget. And so for the first grant, we need to repledge $12,450 out of this year's appropriations budget. We have to use local funds as a part of it. We cannot use program income for that. The second one that we have is similar. It was, again, for new vehicles. It was written quite some time ago. They've expended a portion of these funds, but not all of them, and so the appropriations budget did not include the match money for that. And the funds that we need for that one is an additional, we've expended $8,718 of this 1620, so we have another $7,842 that we need to have come out of this year's appropriations budgets. I visited with Alan, the CFO, about this, and he said it's just something that we have to do. The vans themselves, they reported to me this morning that one of them has now gone down and the other one is extremely unreliable, is where they're at. They've identified vans that they can purchase immediately. Upon your approval of their appropriations for this, they can move forward. They're ready to move forward with the actual purchase for the vans tomorrow, with your approval. On the second one is to replace a larger vehicle, so I want you to know that one.
Yeah. Motion to adopt.
Second. Been a motion and second to adopt resolution 19-105. Winnebago bus replacement.
Right.
Okay.
Do you have the second one in front of you? for
Any
us?
discussion? No, we don't. Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 6-0. The next one you had on here was the Institute of Museum and Library Services.
Yeah, the two lines there are the Ho Chunk project, that's all one. It's just the Ho Chunk Washka, that
Oh.
is the name of the project title that's being applied to the Institute of Museum and Library Services.
Okay.
So do we want to consider this other remaining portion of the match that we need to do? Do you want to do that as a motion? Do you want to see it as a resolution, or how do you want it? Do you want to bring it back later? How would you like it?
I prefer to see something in writing.
Okay, so we'll bring it back, and I'll let Dave know. That
Okay.
one can wait a few more days, so, all right. Thank you.
Okay, number 6, resolution absolute relinquishment.
Mr. Chairman, I don't even think we can act on this resolution because it identifies Andrew Lyons as a woman. Now they're before it resolved. Andrew Thomas Lyons gives the enrollment number, and it says, her name will be stricken from the Winnebago tribe membership roll. She will have no further affiliations with the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. Last time I knew, Andrew was male status.
Okay.
So this resolution can't be passed the way it is.
Clerical.
Now therefore be it resolved. Spells it out as she's a woman.
Probably could just change that, it's probably a clerical error in the typing of the resolution, with correction made. They reviewed the application with the enrollment committee, and then I think they have it in their minutes.
Yeah, Jim, I'm not against approving this resolution for a relinquishment. That's fine with me. But you can't identify him as a woman.
As I said, the correction, you can make the corrections to the resolution.
Okay, who does that? Enrollment?
Probably Travis Sec. Teresa.
Yeah. She can correct it. You just note it. Or we can correct it and put it on the next one, then we can do it by signature.
Well, she's already waited quite a while for
Yeah.
this. And I think he has a go ahead to be enrolled up there. We have to take her.
Did you say she? It's he.
I don't care, I just didn't want to pass it in this form.
The motion could be made that you make the corrections,
Okay?
the clerical, there's only two areas in there.
The her and she.
Yeah. So I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Didn't you already move it, Jim?
No, he didn't.
No? Okay. I'll second it. With corrections.
Been motion second to adopt resolution 19-106 with corrections. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0. Approve primary and regular election schedule.
I'll move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been motion second to approve the primary and regular election schedule. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0. WHDC action items. Okay.
We can take them one at a time or all three, Mr. Chair.
I think one at a time would be appropriate.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to remove the board member from WHDC for failure to attend 3 minutes in row.
Been motion, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Been motion second to remove a board member from WHDC. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0.
I make a motion to advertise for that vacancy.
There are
Three, there's three, Kenny. Three.
I didn't specify how many. Oh, I said that position.
Yeah.
Okay. I changed my motion to 3.
Okay.
I second it.
Been motion second to advertise board vacancies of 3 to WHDC. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0. Criteria for WHDC board members. I'll move it, Mr. Chair.
I second it.
Been motion second to add criteria for WHDC board members, ethical standards of conduct policy requirements, section 9. Discussion. Any objections? No objections, motion passed 6-0. Old business, Hiram Wolf Village Board regarding dog ordinance.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. We're here tonight to inform you that we've been looking at adopting these ordinances that the tribe has set forth. James has been in contact with John Snowball in regards to the ordinances, and they have come with a plan of revising some of the ordinances that pertain to our dog problem we have here in the community. It's been observed for quite some time, and back in February I wanted to begin this, but nothing ever became of it with our last chair member of the village, so I am in pursuit of that to see that we can do something about it, maybe enforce it, and like I said, revise some of these ordinances that we now have to make it better. And the village is also ready to help in any way we can with getting this back in action. So, anyway, can open it for discussion or anything the board has to say in regards to this.
I know we had a discussion on that, and it was difficult for wildlife and parks, and then also the police department to enforce the ordinance. And the discussion led into the possibility of contracting with someone just for that sole purpose. And I think that, what we need to do is we need to look at the ordinance a lot closer, though. There's some areas in there that are questionable.
Just a correction on there, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what day it was, but we had a meeting up there at the village board, and we did adopt those same ordinances that the tribe has. So we're all on the same page with this animal code. And then back to the contract part of it, that's a very good idea. I think so. I think, however, all the entities that are in this village, tribe, or whatever we want to call it, reservation, I think the housing authority are in on it. They stand to be helped by it. HCI, which is annexed by the village, and then our community in Winnebago also. My thoughts are that we all should share the cost of that contract, whatever it may be. Maybe Wildlife Parks wants to come up with a contract. John wasn't here. I talked with him earlier this week on that. Put some numbers together. What we need, to take care of this animal control. And I guess there's several gray areas on this, and some of them are, would the health department still be registering the dogs? Would they still be vaccinating? That is a health problem that, I'm sure they don't want to have rabid dogs or mangy dogs running around. And it all stems from having your dog properly registered, which goes back to, in that code, vicious animals. There's 5 classifications of that in the code. My thoughts are that when you, at the time of registration, you can define that animal, if it's vicious or not. And there's policies that can be made, to correct that, and to uphold the tribal code on the vicious animal part. I believe that's one of the problems. The other problems I see is that animals at large. There's a lot of them running around, and those are the ones that are biting people. I don't have the numbers, but just last week another person was bitten, a little kid. And maybe a month earlier, another little kid got mauled by one. We're trying to get that stopped, and the only way to do that is to keep these animals chained up. Making these owners responsible for their animals and setting penalties for that. If those penalties are enforced, then that makes the owners responsible for those dogs. And I belong to the Wildlife and Parks Commission also. And John came to us with some policies. There was 5 of them. I don't know if he showed them. I thought he would be here to pass those out, but he's not. They're all really, really good to me, and it's animals at large, penalties for that, policies that would kind of help with all those. I don't have them with me right now, but like I said, the procedure for that, I wasn't sure if we could do it that way. It comes to the board, and then they approve them, and then it comes to you for your final approval. I'm not sure if it's handled that way, but that question is still there. Who wants to take responsibility of it? And Wildlife Parks Commission, the animal control was added to their duties. And to me, in the code, it's separate from what Wildlife and Parks should be doing. So if we could maybe come to a decision sometime or other about who should take responsibility of that, or the contract. To me, that we have that officer already that was sent to school and come back, you know. They're the ones that need to enforce all these codes and policies. They're the ones that can hand out the citations, and they would uphold it in court, whatever they may be. So that was just my thoughts on that, is to a contract being, you know, out there for somebody, maybe advertise it, get some money, get some numbers to show you, you know, how that would be set, and who would share in paying that contract. That way it's not all thrown at one or the other, you know. So that's my thought on this. And, you know, these codes, they can be revised, they can be, you know, to meet whatever our needs are. So that was my thoughts that I wanted to bring to this table and ask you, you know, how you thought about it. Should we proceed with trying to get some numbers together, a contract or something, you know? Like I said, I don't know if it's, Wildlife and Parks job to do that or what, but that's just something that we see, and that there's a need, you know, immediate need through the village. And I sat on that board also, and that's a big thing that came to the table up there. And like I said, the village, we made that motion, we adopted the tribal code, because the village code is pretty similar, almost the same. So I said, let's just make this all one and not say, you can't come on village and catch my dog. You know, this is a whole reservation, and they should all be, you know, considered the same. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. I think you got it.
Like you said, if we have our codes, our ordinances, you know, if we have them in place, and then I guess, you know, it goes back to law enforcement to enforce them. You know, like you said, if we have a tribal court, and then, you know, the law enforcement, you know, write the citation, send it to court. You know, then when it was delegated to Wildlife and Park, more or less because, you know, we just kind of thrust upon them, you know, and then, they did a good job, you know, because they, when an incident happens, a dog bite, and the PD will notify Wildlife and Park, and go over and pick up the dog, and then you know, get it housed somewhere, and things like that way. Then if there was an incident where that dog, while in being detained, attacked another dog, then, you know, they had to dispose of it. You know, but they just kind of followed the procedures. But, you know, going back to our law enforcement, you know, it wouldn't take much to. But as far as we might have to do a contract of where we're going to keep them, you know, once they're picked up. So you probably could get some numbers either in South Sioux or someplace. that something needs to be done, you know, to protect the children in the community. If there is, we do have ordinances as far as, we need to get the figures from health department, because they're doing the, you know, the rabies shots and then the tagging of them like that. So any of those that aren't tagged, you know, they should be picked up. I mean, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I believe that too, that, there's other, there was some people from South Sioux, I remember at one time that had a contract, and I don't think they did a very good job. But, I talked a bit with, John Snowball, and he was saying that they could put together a contract for wildlife and parks for, that way they could use that officer that we sent to school for that. That could be part of it. We have some kennels out there already. You know, it's just getting the figures together, how much everything would cost. That way, you know, we can put it on the table, send a letter out to HCI, to Housing Authority, to Tribal Housing, you know. A lot of these guys already are, departments such as Housing Authority already has an ordinance on dogs, you know. So they would benefit by it, you know, and, it just, like I said, get it out there. Maybe there's some other company that wants to take care of it, but we'd have to have our own officer to enforce that on our tribal land here, and to make it stick in court. So, yeah, you're right. That's all I could, you know. And so we could get into it more and then, you know, really break it down, which needs to be done. You know, I know you like to see that in front of you, but I think if you guys are, if you all at the table are okay with it, we could kind of pursue that a little bit more.
I think, you know, if the village is willing to absorb some of that cost of the budget, you know, for the facility, or even for the keeping the animals, you know, once there citation issue or an incident happened where they bite somebody, and then, you know, we could work that out with the budget and do some kind of an agreement. And talk it over with Wildlife and Park if they're willing to do that.
Okay.
And come up with a budget that would be the right time, because, you know, we're coming in pretty soon to start doing appropriations, you know, so we can get those numbers together.
Okay. That's all I had. I don't know.
So what you're proposing, Hannah, is rather than having two ordinances, we just have one?
Yeah, we have to.
You know, eliminate it in the village because you said it was identical to the tribes. So we just have one ordinance that we deal with. And you said you had talked to John, and that John can put together a budget for contract purposes. And you mentioned one of the officers, wildlife and park officers, could function as the dog catcher. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, they have that responsibility anyway, wildlife and parks. And why would we establish a different budget for something they're already doing now? See, that was the problem that we arrived at, is that they don't have time to do it. They're working not just in town, they're working outside of the community. And the only time they're asked to do, or they do anything pertaining to the animals, is upon request. There's a phone call, and they need to respond to it in the community. And I think if we do a separate budget and a contract with a person or a company, what have you, then, you know, we can address, you know, the problems that exist here concerning the dogs. And you know, we had that services before, some years back.
Yeah.
And for some reason they couldn't handle it. It was I think there was a health problem in the family, if I remember right. And the kennels right now are located by Wildlife and Parks, right?
Yes.
Okay. what you probably will need to do is you need to solicit, I don't know if you're gonna take it on or if John's gonna take it on, but each of the programs, you know, the Housing Commission, the tribe, the village, HCI, and I don't know what other entities, and possibly donate to this fund, you know, just for that purpose. But before that's done, we need to know what the budget's gonna be like.
Chairman, I don't know how far I could go with this on that budget part, but
Well, didn't you say John already had something together?
I instructed him to, let's get some numbers, and I thought he would, but down that same road, I thought they were trying to actually make that separation, wildlife and parks, animal control, bison project, you know what I mean, like that. And just have focus on wildlife and parks, focus on that.
Mhm.
And that's what the reasoning of having the animal control, its own thing, that way all these other people can help with that cost. That was kind of my thoughts on that. John's too, so I don't know how far he wants to bring that to, the wildlife and parks part of it to the table. I will
Mhm.
get those numbers together.
I believe it's the plan, was it June or July, we're gonna look at appropriations? Okay, so about around that period of time, then, you know, we can look at the budget here and add that if necessary.
Okay.
So you keep that in mind. And, you know, just one other comment is, you know, what I heard last summer, we, in June, you know, we had a lot of visitors to the community. And some of the comments I heard is that, you know, this don't even look like a reservation. And I immediately thought about the dogs. Is that most reservations, you know, they have abundant of dogs running around.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not like that here.
Okay.
So, you know, that must have made an impression on our visitors. So if you can get with John and
Okay.
see what he can do.
All right.
Okay,
Just sort of
yeah.
a lot of dogs out my way. I had a pit bull in the yard, and I called around and told me to call wildlife park. And I asked if there's a pit bull in my yard. They wanted me to certify it to a pit bull. How the hell am I gonna certify a pit bull? It looked like one. It acted like one.
It probably was one.
Must
So
have
it
been
was.
That's a bad one.
But they wouldn't do anything. And lately, neighbor dog came and killed our little dog. And I called the wildlife and parks, and they came out. And then we told them the story. We also wrote a statement to the tribal court. And they came out and took two of the 4 dogs. And we haven't seen the other 2. They must have picked them up. But I was worried that they killed the little dog. And they were chasing my granddaughter. That's what scared the hell out of me. I appreciate what the wildlife parks did.
I go a little step farther in that, we're trying to create, in these policies, we want to make it so we can identify those wild dogs. That way the person owning that dog can't say, oh, that ain't pit bull. You know, there is a DNA process now that you can use.
Now talk
I'll
about
talk
it.
about him. Yeah.
But, you know, that DNA process, and this is part of the policy, some of the policies we want to try to fit in there, and it's like, you come and register your dog and you have a pit bull, they say, hey, that looks like a pit bull. They go to the code and say, you can have those, you know. Oh, it's not. Well, here's the deal. We're gonna have this DNA tested. If it comes back positive, that's a pit bull, guess what? You're gonna pay for that test and you can't have your dog. Or if we're wrong, then we pay for that and you can have your dog then. So, you know, we're trying to make it harsh and then where there's no mistake on identity in this, you know. And there's several other ones that Don came forward with, you know, they're all good ideas to me, and I would like to just, you know, go forward with it. That way, there's no mistake. The end result is, if you own a dog, you love that dog's part of your family, well, that means you're gonna take care of it, you're gonna get it registered, get its shots all the time, you're not gonna let it go run around, you know. And all those things that are like that, you know, reminds me of the old days when we had dogs that, you know, they understood you. You know, they knew they were part of your family. Nowadays, you know, you get a puppy and it gets ugly, let it go. I see that a lot. You know, and then they pick it up. And what do? You get another puppy. You know, and it's on and on and on. That's why all these dogs were running around. You know, so that's responsible owners. We're trying to have those, the ones that can have the dogs. That way some of these dog bites aren't gonna happen, or chasing little kids, or killing your favorite dog, you know, your pet dog or something, you know. That happened to me, and that happened to several people around here. Anyway, that's all I have, and I don't know, John, if, you know, I touched lightly on that, some of that, about the contract that we talked about earlier, you know, about, putting together some numbers.
Yeah, I just wanted to hustle down if anybody had any questions about the current situation.
And I guess it's, they want us to put together some numbers for a contract, and then these policies, you know, these added policies and stuff, bring them forth and, you know, let them see them, you know, as to the code, the penalties, and, you know, what we want to help enforce that we do have a dog population that's cared for, not neglected, and not just letting run wild. You know, that's the end result that we want. And like we said, the person taking care of the animal control, who would that be? Is that designated for them to take care of that part of it, or do you want them strictly taking care of our hunting and our seasons and stuff like that? You know?
Our newest strategy is in enforcing this code is utilizing suspensions. So say your dog's been at large 2 times, we're going to suspend your license for that dog. And it's law that when we take in a dog, if it's not licensed, we can't release it by law. And if that owner can't claim that dog by 3 days, it becomes property of the tribe. So we're utilizing suspensions. I'm working with housing. I know it's in all the leases that they're not supposed to have animals. And these last 4 bites were on housing houses. So, you know, we're kind of looking at that. You know, we're not going to go around house to house trying to enforce this, but if we impound a dog and you live in a housing house, we can't release that dog. So it's kind of keeping track of the owners. You know, our main thing is the community's safe and that the dogs are taken care of. You know, our main focuses. And Ben Saints here, he's a animal control officer / conservation. He's a fully certified police officer now, and this summer he's set to attend all the animal control trainings. That's getting paid by Environmental Health. And we're moving towards getting tranquilizers. Of course, we need a policy to make sure it's safe and we do it in a safe manner. But that's coming forward too, is actually having the ability to tranquilize dogs that we can't catch.
Are you working with law enforcement, John?
We need to get a MOU, some kind of situation, because the way I envisioned it is the animal control officer would work a set schedule, and the police officer on duty would respond to that, give him the report, and then when the animal control officer comes back on, he can follow up on it. So if he needs to make an impound, if he needs to write a ticket. So we want to utilize the police department too, like you suggested.
I have a question, is there still a pig in town?
There is a pig in town. There's a law that there's no livestock within the village,
Yeah.
but livestock is considered an animal that's being raised to eat. So that if they directly pet, I did write the police for animal life on that pig. Yeah.
Who has a pig?
Pigs gain a lot of weight.
Huh? Was that right? Okay, well, maybe we'll continue this. I know that John can put together a good piece for us, good budget.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, no action on this item. Okay, tribal council items. NIHB 10th Annual National Tribal Public Health Summit. This is for Tori.
Didn't we already approve all those,
I was thinking this was part of that list
yeah,
you gave.
'cause she gave us a comprehensive list, and we already approved all of that. Was that not a part of that?
I believe so, it was.
Was it on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all right, then we'll move on to the next item.
That, you guys wanna make for sure that was in the CEO report meetings before that she gave us.
Mhm.
National Tribal Public Health Summit.
That's what that is. First, yep.
This one?
Oh, you just read that, but that's what that is.
Yeah, but
Oh, I
before
see.
that we
Okay.
approved.
All right, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Compare with you, what you got, what's on
Randy. Page 4.
Yep, that's the same one.
Yeah, we approved it already.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we approved it. No action on that item. Number 2, ABAS. Well, we'll see.
Get that in the agenda.
that? Added. Added, having this two right here.
Is that- oh, okay.
Can you move the mic over in front of you?
Teresa gave you copies of my stuff?
You wanna, exact,
Yeah, I kinda. Well, no, it doesn't matter.
Does it matter to you?
No, I just
Okay.
wanna, we shouldn't even be here in the first place, so.
With the stuff that's was given to us, you know, this is that letter, I think. And, you know, what exactly are you asking for?
Well, I'm not disputing that I owe the short-term credit. I redid that loan, so I mean, that one's, I'm not trying to poke my eye out with it. I'm not disputing that one. And I'm not disputing that I owe long-term. My dispute with it is that every paper that I've gotten, it's been different numbers all the way through them. What I had planned on doing when I got this was to pay them off anyway. That was my next step after going through you guys, getting it approved and getting it deposited, was to go see Lucy to have us, come to numbers that we agree on or that were right, and then, pay it off. What I'm disputing also, that promissory note I signed was, it says tribal funds. These aren't tribal. and I'm not getting paid by the Winnebago tribe. I didn't use my land as collateral for that loan either. I mean, like I did for my short term. So I don't know if it's, they're confused, she was confused that since I used it for my short term, that she could, you know, put her lien in there for my long term too. And that's the first I heard anything was when I got that letter from Monica when I went out to the BIA. And that's why I had to come here now, so. But it says she sent me notices, you know, I don't know how many, she said, it doesn't say a number on there, but she sent me notices and this and that. I never got any notices at all from her, so. I mean, I'm not disputing that I know I still owe a loan over there, but I want the right numbers and I want to, you know, see it. Compare notes, you know, come to an agreeable, you know, if we agree. So I'd rather have it just not be on with this. Since it does say in there, it's tribal funds that I'm, you know.
So you're disputing the amount? Is that what you're doing?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I haven't seen anything to tell me where she got these numbers from. Those 2 receipts that's on the back, that one you're holding, that was the ones back before that, before I refinanced it for the new one to the August 2012 one that I signed. There's a $4,000 difference there. That was never fixed. That was when Weeha Ann was here. So before it was even refinanced in August of 2012, it was wrong before that.
On that resolution, or those, you say the numbers are wrong too, on the one that, on the option 2 resolution that.
Yeah, because I didn't see the other one. Well, see that one I got in the mail was it April 3rd or something like that?
Yeah.
That one was different from the resolution that was out to the BIA. That I don't know.
And this is what you're disputing, this.
Mhm.
This is
It shouldn't even be a part of this at all. I mean, it should have, because I didn't use my land as collateral, and the funds that I'm getting are not from the Winnebago tribe. They're from, well, I don't know what they call it, ILCA.
Well, the ILCA funds are tribal funds.
But they're not getting paid by the Winnebago
They're
tribe.
appropriated to the tribe. So it's under our control. Okay, there was a resolution that was adopted by the council
Mhm.
and identified a dollar amount.
I
Okay,
understand that.
Okay, so.
I never got to see how she came up with those numbers, though. I mean, in every one of those papers, if you look at them, they're all wrong. I mean,
Okay, what we can do is then we can delay this further, and we can ask for all the documents through the CFO, and look at the resolution that was approved,
Mhm.
passed by the council, and whatever documents that you have, you know, to support your position,
mhm.
then we'll compare that to what the credit department has. So if you're disputing the amount, then, you know, we have to be fair.
Well, I mean, I don't know what I don't know. It shouldn't be no 30,000. The original loan was 36. You know, and I paid on it for 3 years, and then I had my sister. I don't know. Did you guys have that in yours?
Yeah.
Kit Kat and Kayla's.
We
were
have,
over there?
okay, what happened was, when you refinance the loan, you also ask for additional money when you refinance for repair on your roof. So that was added on to the cost.
See, I didn't
So
see that
that's-
one. That was why I
That was-
refinanced.
Yeah, that
for
was why you refinanced, because
Yeah.
of the roof payment.
And it was
And
the
so
36.
That,
on that
so
one.
that's what popped it back up. And then you were paying, and then part of the payment that you have went into escrow. So then when your sister and Kayla were paying, their part of theirs were paying, went into the amount, but part of theirs also went into escrow to pay your taxes and your insurance.
Yeah, I know that. But then the one I signed right here is the only one that I have. It's the 36 one.
And
The
it
one I
went,
have.
because they paid on it, and then it went down at the 9/30 of 2016, the amount that we had, and then they made a couple more payments. And then part of that, of their payments, a portion of that went into escrow. A portion of it went into escrow and a portion of it went on your principal. So the amount that we have there is what is owed. Then the escrow is in the negative now because we paid taxes.
Do you
and-
have those? Do
and
you have
insurance.
copies of those? All those other ones?
She has.
So well, that discrepancy there, that still never was fixed. I mean,
But see, the thing is, the issue is that when you signed your refinance, if there was an issue with prior to that, when you refinanced it in 2012, then that issue existed there, but that was, you didn't say anything, you signed the document.
that's why I asked if you had all those copies, because that's why I said you weren't even in there. Ann was in there, and I mentioned it to her, but I didn't know if it was in there. That's why I was talking to Alan too, to see if all that was fixed, but apparently it wasn't, so.
But see, I guess my issue is that there was a discrepancy, at that time when you did your refinance for that amount, you should have said something so that they could have fixed it. But
I did, but.
But you went with the documents as the 36,000 that you
Right.
wrote on that contract. And then, in 2014 or 13, you stopped paying, but your sister and Kayla were paying.
Yeah.
But they were only paying $50 a piece, which was $100, and then they popped it up to $75, so it was $150 a pay period. And then that interest was building that whole time, and then the payment was still sitting there. So the payment that was going in was either getting paid on escrow and interest. It wasn't getting totally paid on the principal, because the interest gets taken away first, and then the escrow, and then the principal. So that's why we're sitting at this number. And the other document that you guys have in front of you is that when you signed your loan fee paper, it states in there that you're giving authority to the Bureau of Indian Affairs that they can take any money that is distributed to them in their IIM account to pay on your indebtedness. You agreed to do that by signing that paper.
The BIA, but not you.
Yes, but it still goes for your debt.
Well, see, anyway, then on that promissory note, that's what it says, the Winnebago tribe, and it says tribal funds, and it says that's allocated to you, but it's not directly paid directly by you. You know what I mean? You guys have to draw it, and then that's what I wanted to do, is disputing that too. I mean, it wasn't like, I'm really arguing about it. It was just, I'm just trying to see what we could do about it. And I do want to go, I am going to pay it off, because that's what I wanted to do in the first place.
This is what we're talking about right here. So when you paid this, I will repay the loan on or before the date shown. And it also gives the agency any money that goes into your IIM account is used to pay off your loans.
Did they get a copy of this? How come they didn't give it to me when I was out there?
They don't have a copy?
I didn't get it from them.
Because they have a copy.
Well, how'd you
that
get
of-
those amounts from that first one to that second one to that third one?
What I'm giving you are copies of the payments that were made on her loan. Her documents that she had.
I wasn't disputing that.
No, I'm just,
remember talking with you last week, or earlier this week. We talked a little bit about that resolution that you had a copy of. We voted for it. He wasn't agreeable to that first resolution?
Well, I didn't really sit and read it either, but it's like, to me, it's just like, I don't like, it's like you guys get some money, you're finally waiting all this time, get that money, and then have someone tell you what you're gonna do with it. You know, I didn't say I didn't owe a loan to them, but it was just, the amounts are just, it was just ridiculous, because it's like, I paid on it for 3 years while I was still working here. How is it so far still, you know, that high? Cause I paid what, $257 plus an extra $50 to $100 every 2 weeks on it when I first started doing it.
It was actually $177, and then you had somebody else pay $50. And so everything that we have in our paperwork, it shows $177.
And I got copies of all my receipts, and it'll say $257. It's every 2 weeks. It's on there.
But we're only looking at RJF 112B. She did make payments on the other one, and there was, that was substantial. But then when she refinanced, then that's when it went back up again.
I still have all my receipts, and it's from August, or from when I did this one. But what I would like to do is, since that is a whole separate issue anyway, I mean, she took, Pam, when she did her short term, she was always doing short term. She actually, there was a court paper out there that I got. I didn't get the notice to go to court, but when I went to the BIA, I got that paper. I'm not disputing hers at all. What I would like to do is just have mine and this long-term one, just take it off and then do it separately. I'd rather have my full payment minus credit and then go from there instead of sitting here and, going round and round with it, because I've been waiting long enough. And then last minute jumps in there, and then, here goes this right here, and I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, can I weigh in on it? Because I was the one that made the motion to pass that resolution, 1995. When we had that resolution in front of us, Lisa, it took all that they calculated me owed. From the figures that I read, it looked like they could have took it all, but they took just what they felt had to come back to them. That left you with $16,000. And after I saw all the paperwork, I figured, you know what? Take that $16,000 and let's call it even. That's what I thought you would agree to. And then, and you said in my office, you agreed to that, but you said the figures weren't right that they put together. And that's where I was confused all over again.
I'm still not seeing them. I mean, that's why I said this should be a whole different, it shouldn't even be sitting here, it's just dragging on and on and on. We shouldn't even be doing this.
I know, and that's why I made that motion to pass that resolution.
It shouldn't even have to come to council. It should have just been between me and the credit department. Give me my money, give me my 50, whatever it was supposed to be, minus credit, because that one's a legit one. This is just a whole thing that just blew up, and then it should have just been between me and long-term credit, and then just, settle it like that instead of having to do it this way. Because I was going to go in there and pay them anyway, you know what I mean?
I didn't know any other way to do it, that's why I went along with the motion. I wanted to see you at least get that amount.
He wasn't here, and, forgive us for,
No, I
basically, we're
have-
thinking that we were looking out for your best interest. You don't have to take that, and to try to get that money back, I guess we'll have to get it in the 20-year period from your lease. I mean, that's your, second option.
And I'll bring mine down to you guys to look at them too.
With the resolution we passed, you have that right, you don't have to agree to it.
Well, say we go,
But
say I
it's
agree
just
to
gonna
it.
prolong this
It
thing.
is, and I don't want it to do that. That's what I don't want it to do. So, say I go along with it, yeah, we go, go ahead, I go out and sign those papers, we do it. Can we come back in after we get all these, and if there is a difference that I'm due, can I get, the difference paid back to me? Can we do it that way?
I don't know if it would come here to us, it wouldn't
I
come
mean,
to
the
us.
thing is, we, the tribe, whoever, agreed to forego the interest.
Right.
The interest is like 20, I don't even know what it is, it's like 20-some thousand or whatever. That's interest that's been built up from the last payment, 20-some thousand. In 2016. That's the interest from then. I mean, I know that you're, I guess, say no, but for you, this is a win-win for you. We lose out on 20,000 in interest that can go to help somebody else, another tribal member. You get your property free and clear, it's paid for, right now you're in default. And you know that if you don't, it doesn't come down, then we're gonna go to court. You know that already.
Yeah.
So this is a win-win for you. You don't have to pay that extra 20,000 in interest.
But where is that coming from? From what?
It's
From
from the last
2012?
payment.
From the
Yeah.
last payment is what?
In 2016.
The one that Kit Kat and Kayla did.
Yep.
Okay,
There was only
Okay.
one, actually.
Lucille, can
I
you,
get
can you help us? And they put the podium up here, and we're on live stream. Okay,
We can.
all right, let me ask this again, are you contesting the amount and the
No,
resolution?
I am, but I'm not.
Okay,
Just for this, because I don't know if our receipts match or my receipts match, but I'm just tired of going around and around with this, and that's why I was saying if I had to go through mine, because I needed to get some of these. I got some from Cheryl, and I asked Alan to print me something, and I never got anything. And this was like 3 weeks ago. And then,
I like to make it real clear and plain to you. They're forgiving you $20-some thousand in interest. They're forgiving that. You can walk away with $16,000 and this issue is all over with.
And your house is paid for, so everything's clear.
It's all over with.
so no one's gotten. Okay, yeah, let's just go for it. Just leave it as it is, and I'm done. You guys are not. Thank you. I'll just leave it. But I'll still bring my other ones down to the view, just so you can see what I got from those other ones.
So you're willing to accept?
I'm just gonna take it, yeah.
You're willing to accept the 16? Of that resolution?
Yep.
okay, all right.
No action?
Hmm?
No action?
No action, just,
Oh, you already done last night.
I'll get with, Irita tomorrow. Okay, next one, number 3, Barbie McCauley.
Barbie?
Barbie.
Barbie.
McCauley.
Hello. What's going on
Called me
here?
a doll in a long time. The budget that I put down is an approximation of what I pay out each month. And the Social Security thing is not correct because the housing kept by 2019 and I haven't been able to go down and get it. But my actual money I get each month is 15,300, or 15,000, I wish, 1,538. And I have Medicare Part A and B taken out, and private insurance, Humana, to cover prescriptions that I incur because the pharmacy won't order them, so I have to pay for them out of my own pocket. And then also, I just started a deduction for $97 a month for at the end of the year, just so something like this will be covered. I tried saving money before, but I mean, Indians don't save money. This one doesn't anyway. So, Walt was going to do my U-joints when the weather got okay, but he passed away suddenly. And the estimates I got are hit and miss because I wasn't able to go up to tell him what I actually needed. But if you could find it in your heart and let me get my windows fixed up, because I'm making the Dollar General rich buying tape so I can tape my window up. And KNS is the lowest one for repair on the U-joints and the tires. Ben Fish was $1,300, and John Barrage said they don't do U-joints because they don't have a puller or something. So the amount I'm asking for the windows is $595 for that out to John Barrage, and the tires for work on the U-joints, both front and back, is $1,030 and $45. I went up to Jet TANF and I was told I was ineligible. I co-signed for 2 people and they reneged on it, so I can't get a loan until they pay that off or I start paying it.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I mean, you got it.
So I'm strapped, really.
So you got a $1,940 amount for those combined? What was that?
Which one are you looking at?
Well, you said you had $595 for Windows, $1,345 for the other.
Yeah, the $595 is for the windshield. It's got 2 cracks on it, which is unsafe, and my window won't roll down, and I don't have air conditioning, so I bake in the summertime. And the passenger rear view mirror was jerked off, vandalized.
Was it vandalized?
Pardon?
You say vandalized?
Yeah, somebody tore it
By
off.
youth? By young kids?
I'm guessing, yeah, it happened overnight.
What's
You say that you're not eligible for credit?
No, because of the 2 co-signers that reneged on their loans.
Then,
I've already tried.
I guess, as far as, our department heads that manage the programs, when they come into situations like this, we're supposed to go by our policies and procedures, then after those tribal members become delinquent in their payments, and then after a certain length of time, you're gonna have to go through that process and take them to court. You know, if they would do that, we wouldn't be dealing with this stuff here at the table. You know, she in good faith, co-signed for one of her relatives, but at the same time, you know, she's, sole source of income for Social Security. Hardships on her relatives like that, you know, but we need to have better management of our programs and abiding by our policies and procedures and doing the correct things. If there was a lapse in payment from that time, then after a certain length of time, you say, okay, you send out the letter, you send out the notices, you send out 3 notices, and then from that time, and then you process it through the court system, so that way it's not here at the table. That length of time between, so that all of that time, that interest and stuff is accrued. If it was dealt with in a timely manner, it wouldn't be here at the table.
That would be great.
Maybe we could talk to credit, you know, and see if they can assist her in any way.
Let's see.
Mr. Chair, if I may. You know, this is my woman relative here, and I'm gonna say something on her behalf, and that's what men folk do. But I'm doing this on any tribal member that comes and needs help. At some time in our life, we need help. You know, she's at a low point now. You know, but that's not no excuse, but that's where she's at, and that's her primary vehicle to get around. We just forgave $10,000 helping another tribal member.
20,000.
Or 20,000, I mean, I'm sorry. We just did that. Now this individual has a need, and there's others that come to the table and needed help, and there's more going to be coming. You know, our policies are supposed to work for our people. Sometimes they don't, you know, and that's what we're here for, to help our people. And we're getting more of that, people coming in with needs. It's just the basic needs, you know. It's none of our business to manage your money, your resource, your funds, and other people's. It's their business. But each case is different, you know. You're an elder as well, you know. You worked all your life. You don't ask for much. You never ask for anything, that I know of. I talk with you, you know. And you just have a right just like any other tribal member, you know. So looking at our policies, which was mentioned, you know, and I talked with our TANF people, and they follow those regs to a T. There's people come home, been incarcerated for 2-3 years, and come home. They don't have they can't get no clothes or any help. But they have to wait, what, 45 days, I was told, to get any kind of help. So these kind of things ain't working for our people when these things arise. So what do? So collectively, we need to, you know, come together, you know, and like I say, every situation is different and unique, you know, and I just want to say something on your behalf, you know, and I shouldn't really be saying nothing, but, you know, I feel for you, you know, and you wouldn't be here if you wouldn't be here. But it's you can help some over here and then not over here in very substantial amounts. Those kind of things that just was in here before, it shouldn't even be in here. You know what I mean? So I like to, and I mentioned that to her, to revisit those policies and bring those up to where they work for on behalf of for our people, you know, and those applicants. And rightfully, that should have been back to the board, I think, you know, and that those people that administer those. But it's done. So this ain't gonna be the last time. There's gonna be other people come. Another senior come during the winter time. He needed tires. We didn't help him, you know, because we couldn't. So you look at our cash cow and what's being brought over here, and it's all maxed out, you know. So I ain't putting anybody down. It's just the way it is. We've got to figure this thing out. So when there's really a need, if someone's displaced, here we are relying on FEMA, and then, hopefully that works and those kind of things. And I think it's set up for failure myself, but we need to continue that dialogue and that discussion, So when it comes time to these emergencies, we got to figure this out for people like you and other people, and we all need help sometime, in our life. This is a low point for you, So hopefully, based upon what we just did, and what was done, I think there's a way we could do something. My opinion. But I would say that for anybody that comes. And it's hard. These decisions are hard here to do that. They are. We want to help, but we're confined with, the structure's already been in place. It's hard to do that. But we're here to help our people. That's what it's supposed to be, And so those are hard decisions, So I just want to say that on your behalf, and you're my woman relative, so I'm going to say that on your behalf,
Thank you. I appreciate it very,
Chair-
very
Mr.
much.
Chair, I'd like to say something. First of all, Curtis, I appreciate what you had to say. And I know you say you're recognizing yourself as a relative, but your relatives did vote you in not to say nothing on their behalf.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna support whatever the request is. Because you laid out how many times she ever came here. None. But you didn't lay out the fact that for 20-some years, she had the back of our law enforcement people in the job that she did. Now she's coming to want support for her public service. I have no problem at this table. And you're gonna say, well, you're gonna have a lot of them coming in after this. No, they're already coming in before this. And for the most part, we always compensate and help them in some way. It's nice to be gracious and generous, but sometimes it can backfire on you. But I haven't seen yet with this council it backfire on us. Simply because we do have the resources. Maybe we're not the best stewards of them, but we do have resources to help people. A lot of people don't have that and can't even figure out where it should come from. So that's my spiel on Barb's situation.
Thank you,
I
Kenny.
respect her for the years of public service that she did to protect our own. The other thing I want to say is, I wanted to make it obvious that young people go around destroying older people's stuff. Well, older people don't have money to pay to have that fixed up. But them young ones got $10,000, $11,000 coming in a few years. You start taking out what they vandalize and destroy, and all of a sudden they get a check for $3,000 or $4,000 less, and ask why. Well, how about those years you vandalized this and all that sort of stuff? I think something needs to go into play there. That's how you're gonna start curbing some of this vandalism and destruction of senior people's property. She can't go out and just replace what was damaged. That's all I have to say, Mr. Chair. I'm waiting for the vote.
Thank you, Kenny.
I wanted just to reiterate what I already heard by Curtis and then Kenny. This lady that's sitting here, she's my neighbor, my dad, she lives across the way from me, and she never bothers anybody like that. And she tries real hard to make a home for herself and help her relatives like that. That's what I witnessed in the time that she's been living there. And so, just to like what I've been hearing, she's on a fixed income, and she's maxed out, and all the resources or all the avenues at her disposal, she's already kind of exhausted all of that. And I don't think that she would be here if there was any other way like that. So I would support any motion to in favor of helping her, you know. So I wanted to weigh in on that. That's my take.
Thank you. I will say that I get my check deposited in my bank account at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 1, I'm zeroed out from, you know, paying bills by phone.
Barb, you mentioned in your statement here that you needed to get pain pills.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you go to the hospital on a regular basis?
I've been referred out to a pain clinic
Where's that?
out at it's Cinos Pain Clinic on Singing Hills Boulevard. I go there every month, and they give me a prescription, and I have to take it to a pharmacy. And it's only a $20 copay. That's all they would have to pay out.
So.
And yet, my Humana account, the pharmacy has tapped into that, and the medicine that I get down here, they're making Humana pay it. Yet they won't pay my $20. They won't order my pain pills.
So do you have to drive from your home to
Yes,
Singing Hills? And how often do you do that?
once a month.
Okay. Are you currently driving your own vehicle, the one you mentioned in there?
No, I've been, with the winter months, I've been catching a ride with them. The transportation.
Mm-hmm. So the hospital would have statements concerning your physical condition and how often you go to CNOs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had 3 broken vertebrae, all separate incidences with compressed discs, so I've had 3 back operations.
There's, just what Kenny said, you dedicated quite a few years to this community here. And I've taken notice of it. And I always felt that you were probably the best one that we had down there in that capacity.
Thank you.
And what I'm considering, council, is the health issue. Is that, if there's a requirement for her to go to see the doctor, even if it's once a month, there's a need and requirement on that side of it.
I've been doing that for 4 years.
Yeah, and I believe that, whatever the council wants to do, I think it's justified. Because, with broken vertebrae, that has to be painful. And I believe that in the social service, human services area, there's emergency assistance for the elders. And I don't know if we still have funds in there or not, but I know periodically the council replenishes that account.
I'd like to make a motion that we can help Miss Barb here financially for her car repairs.
1,200
Yeah.
out of emergency assistance.
It's $15.95. $15.95.
Do we have that, Rod? Do we have
Dude.
emergency assistance? Is there-
I would have to check with the CFO.
What about tribal council donations? We get our $250
General
from
fund,
some general fund. Yeah.
Our funds,
Mm-hmm.
if there's money in there.
Could be a motion to 15.
Yes.
I didn't get the amount, which,
$15.95.
$15.95.
I second.
been motioned and second to provide financial assistance to Barbara McCauley in the amount of $1,595. Discussion?
Where's that coming from?
Well, that's what I was going to throw out. Okay. We can go to emergency assistance, or the tribal council has an account that can be used. Okay. So, first, the general
fund?
yeah, our general fund. First would be the emergency assistance, if there's funds there. Second would be the tribal council. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Any further discussion? Any objections to the motion?
Object.
Call for vote in favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 yes. No. 0. Abstention. 1. 1 abstention. 1 no vote. What'd you do? I didn't see.
I went like this.
Oh. I didn't see that. So was that a yes or abstention?
That was a yes.
Okay, 6-0-1. Motion passed.
Well, I thank all of you, and in regards to the last time I sat in front of you and made that horrendous remark about losing my faith and whatever in you guys, you fully restored it today. Not just because of your actions, but because of your kind words and decision.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Barb, after we get your pickup fixed, can we use it to get some wood?
Sure. I loan it out.
Okay, next item.
I respect these old timers.
Good job.
Thank you. Us old timers appreciate things like that.
Next item,
Thank you.
Carmelita Latre. Which one's Carmelita?
Yeah.
Cassie,
Cassie.
here you come again. What
Ca-
you do with that $11 we gave you 3 years ago?
Cassie,
Oh, my God.
Cassie, you gotta get at the podium.
Yes. Well, good evening, Carmelita, can you go ahead and
Oh, Carmelita?
start us off?
Hello, my name is Carmelita Latre. I'm an enrolled member of Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. I go to Little Priest Tribal College. I'll be graduating in May with my Associates of Science degree in business, and I'm a full-time employee at Educare Winnebago.
My name is Taryn Hargreaves. I'm a member of the Winnebago Tribe, and I'm currently a full-time student at Little Priest, as well as working and being a single mom.
Yeah, this is Danielle Shaggy Nishle Akwatego Dineza Nishle. Hi, I'm Danielle Shaggy. I'm from the Navajo Reservation in New Mexico. I go to Little Priest Tribal College. This is my second year. I played on the women's basketball team, and I work at the school also.
Okay, Cassie, we want to ask you a series of questions. I'm just kidding.
Well, we came together during AHEC, the American Indian Higher Ed Consortium Conference. And so I teach at Little Priest, and I was the hand game coach, and these young ladies were on the team. And it was an amazing sight to see all the students, especially these ladies, really take to the hand game and how enthusiastic they are about it. They were so pumped up after AHEC was over, even though we didn't win, the spirits were still high. And on the way, a few days after we got home, they found a tournament for Bismarck up at Tribes that they wanted to take part in. And there's other people to our team, but for different reasons they aren't able to attend. So we fundraised, and so there'll be 5 of us going. I didn't play with the team, I was coaching them, so it'll be fun to
Play with 10.
Yeah.
I'll be winning that.
Yep, and it's all female team. So we're really excited, and these guys have worked hard in raising money, so my community should be impressed in that.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to match their 849.
Second.
Almost 1,700. That'll get you there and back. Call Mel if you need a ride back.
Been motion second to approve the request in the amount of $849. Discussion. Any objections?
No objections. Discussion. That's this weekend, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Gotta get on there in the morning.
So we plan on leaving tomorrow at the latest by noon. I think game starts Saturday morning.
So if I can't cut a check by noon.
Ron, you can get the ball rolling.
I thought you guys would snap your fingers.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
He's got to snap the fingers.
We've been trying really hard to raise money. Even up until today, we had a raffle going. So we weren't trying to do it last minute. We've just been trying to raise as much as we could.
What time are you trying to leave?
Well, we're hoping by noon, but
What's new to you?
No Indian time.
Indian time.
We're off at noon tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Are we?
No, they get off at noon. Tribe gets off
Good
at
Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try and get that before then.
Okay, see you in the morning.
Okay,
Wanted that.
who would the check go to?
well, I think Carmelita put in the request.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told her call.
Okay, any further discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 6-0-0. Now, the next thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna learn how to squad dance.
Oh, I know.
We're just gonna.
Feeling
Thank
giggy.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
good luck. Good luck, safe
Thank
travels.
you.
Good luck.
Take Trump flag.
Oh, yeah.
Or entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just, before we do, I want to just express how much I appreciate the compassion you guys had on everybody that came in here. It really kind of touched me that Sue apologized for something mean she said a long time ago. Hey, that's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. I'm proud of you guys tonight for that compassion on everybody.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you,
Okay,
Council.
well, one thing you can see in your calendar, on May 2nd, we're having the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's meeting at Winnebago, and they've invited, what's that organization down southeast? UNICET? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So,
In the southeast tribes. Anyway, they're gonna come to Vegas on May 2nd. We're gonna have a joint meeting. So that's gonna be taking place. And if we can get the whole council there, that'd be great. It's not just for the chairmans, but whoever wants to attend. Okay, Chair, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been a motion, second to adjourn. Any objections? No objections, we're adjourned at 18:50.
have that.